We definitely have some strong leadership in our in between our junior and senior classes. There's even some sophomores in there that have been doing a really good job with leadership. I think that the past 4 years we've been in the NCAA tournament, and I think that they've all benefited that senior class from having that experience for the past 3 years. I also think that there's very high expectations. So, I think that they really expect a lot out of each other, which is really great to see. We have a large group of youth, right? You have a big freshman class, but, they've really learned a lot in the fall semester. And now I feel like they seem more like veteran players, second semester. While we haven't got out to compete yet, we've had a couple exhibition games and had an alumni game. So I think they've kind of got the feel of what Case Western softball is about, and just really focusing on the process and like what can we do to take care of the smaller things has really been the goal over the last, really 6 weeks is what it'll end up being with a few rollover practices from the fall semester. A lot of those young players too, like we're going to need them to be starters. So just a lot of teaching, a lot of good understanding of, they've all come in with a really good solid base. They've come from great programs, and they're also great students. I think that's a big part of the adjustment is we have players from all over the country. We have a player from Hawaii this year. So, just giving them opportunity to really enjoy Cleveland and get to know what our team is all about. They have a really great character. They're fun to be around. They're laughing and having a good time. And I think that that's a big part of it too, is that we take what we do seriously, but not too serious in the fact that, we can still have a good time and be together. She's been a great addition to our team. We definitely have a lot of more hitters this year than we've had in the past. So I think that there's more work to be done. She's got some great experience behind her. So, I'm just really thrilled to have someone of that caliber that's able to work with our team day in and day out. She's got experience in the bullpen. She's got experience in the infield. So again, our team is going to reap the benefits of that. I just think a big difference maker this year for that larger freshman class has been our ability to include past alumni that have been able to help. So Ashley Perello has been on staff now for, over 10 years. So it's great to have her help again this year. And then we've added Jenna, Bella, and Kylie Josie are all returning. And we have a lot of pitching experience that they can impart on the freshman pitchers and our returning pitchers as well. And then Liv Whitaker is also an area student here who went to St. Bonaventure, and she's been a great addition to kind of help with our outfield as well. So again, a big staff that can pull a lot of weight during practice. Dev's had the most experience out of that group. She's coming in a lot of relief scenarios, so she'll be looking to start games this year. She's really taken up her pitch count and really worked on her ability to be ready to handle more innings this year. Cameron will also, one of our freshmen, will be pitching, and Josie as well. We'll look to Laura Mioli as our relief pitcher as well. So we're going to kind of mix between those four. They have different speeds, different movements, each of them. So I've been really impressed with the amount of growth that I've seen from them from August to where we're at now. We have a good amount of hitters, so they get a chance to face a lot of them and really get tested each practice. To really be able to refine their repertoire, be able to repeat pitches, be able to mix in off speed, just to really keep the headers off and keep them guessing. They really see the vision, and I think they really want to, continue that. That Case Western softball has been on the rise. I think last year was the highest we'd ever been ranked, ever for a program. So, I think we want to continue that momentum moving forward, and they're going to be a big driving force this year. Both for them defensively, they're very consistent. They kind of say left side, strong side. That's really what we're looking at. I don't see many balls getting through there at all. They both have great arms. They both are going to be a huge presence in our lineup, and I'm just really excited, for what the future holds with those two. Caitlin will be looking to start as our first baseman. She's had quite a bit of offensive experience, so she'll be looking, Bella did a really great job last year, and I think she's been able to kind of learn from her for the last few years, and she's been doing a great job stepping into her own at that position. We might have a few other utility players, rotating in, possibly a catcher, possibly an outfielder, depending on, what our needs are. And then we'll have a freshman starting at second baseman, Natalie. She's done a really great job. I mean, just her ability to move and cover ground has been very impressive. Freshmen that give us depth within both the corner and the middle infield. Both Abby and Nicole have come in strong with their experience, and they're still growing and learning from our veterans that have been able to kind of show them what it's needed to get it done on the infield in the UAA and to be really a top team competing for the NCAA championship. The outfield is going to be a strength for us this year. I look at the speed between Ashley, Kate, and Nyla. They've been, the starters out there, and just their ability to cover ground has been great. I think we also add, Elena's a great hitter, Tara's a great hitter. They can mix in as well, and we've actually added a couple freshmen as well. So both Sierra and Violet. They can both play out in the outfield as well. So, and then Cameron, who's one of our pitchers, will also be looking to add some time in the outfield. So I think we have some great returners and then other players that will be able to mix in as needed. Looking right now, one of our freshmen, Sophia Becker, has been coming in pretty strong both the fall and the start of the spring. Elena's got experience, so she can definitely with a strong bat, be able to work into that position as well. Riley Williams does a great job catching as well. And then we have another freshman, Maddie Benedict, that gives us that nice depth that we need to come in and support the whole pitching staff. Lacey Laura provides us a good returning bat in our lineup. She last year was an incredible hitter with 2 strikes, just able to poke things through and get things done when we needed her to. So I think she'll step up to the next level for us as well. We have a lot of things to look forward to this year. I think our opening weekend we're playing 2 strong teams, and I think that'll get us ramped up, ready to go for our spring break trip. We're also playing Rowan. We've had quite some experience with them in the past. We also are playing Moravian. They've always had, a really strong program as well. And again, I think that's going to help prepare us for the start of the UAA, seeing WashU right off the bat. I think we didn't play as we would have hoped to last year against them, and I think we're really, amping up for that. We also have strong local opponents. Mount Union has always been a big contender for us, preparing for the NCAA tournament. So we'll see them a little bit later. Baldwin Wallace is also a strong program last year, coming out of the OAC. So, we ultimately have set ourselves up with a very strong schedule, and we're looking forward to competing against all of those non-conference opponents. We definitely have our sights set to regain the championship. I think Emory made a good run in the Supers last year. So I think, being able to train this staff and, just the hard work that they've put in all year round has been incredible. And, I think that they know what it takes, and I think they're even more hungry than they ever have. You're definitely going to have to win every series, every 3-game series, but we're going to have to sweep some people as well. And, like I said, I think all those preseason or early on non-conference games, playing really great teams and figuring out how to combat against them and be strong for 7 innings, I think for us is going to be really important. But I think we have the speed, we have the knowledge, we have the talented players that are needed to win those games. I think just coming together as a group is going to be really important for us. It's really great leadership. I think that the veterans come in and they help steer the ship. They make sure that everybody knows where they need to be, in those moments that we're, relaxed, having fun, playing passionate Case Western softball. And then I also look at, the freshmen. I think really, rising to their ability levels. They are very talented. And I think, having that belief in themselves. And of course, the returners need that belief in themselves as well. So I think just all around knowing, what they're capable of. I think, again, I looked back for, in 2018 when we went to the World Series, we had a very young team. I think maybe only 5 upperclassmen. I think we had 4 seniors and 1 junior that year, and we had a ton of young players. And if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that we would be one of the final 8 teams, I would have been like, there's no way. Yeah, I mean, not that I didn't believe in my team, but it was just like they kept finding ways to, we beat Hope, we beat, some really great pitchers and great programs kind of coming out of, the being unranked, kind of nobody looked, as Case Western softball, that was just a year where, we were able to really take it away. And, I'm looking at a lot of the youth and the talent that we have on our team. It's not the same as that 2018 year, but I think there's a lot of energy built in that. There's a lot of offense that we're going to be able to really attack and score some runs. And, our pitching staff is really working hard to reduce the runs that we're giving up. And we have some really, really great defense that's returning. So, again, we're thrilled to get the year started.